All right, roll call.
Ms. Baldwin is absent. Glickman.
Here.
Lonegro.
Here.
Rolfe. I'm not here yet. Shear.
Here.
Sturman.
Here.
Warshaw.
Here.
Thank you.
We will now begin the regularly scheduled public participation portion of the meeting. Do we get any public comments?
No, we do not.
Okay, then I'm going to move forward. Next is the superintendent's reports.
We celebrated National Custodian Day on October 2nd. We have an incredibly hardworking and amazingly dedicated team on our custodial buildings and grounds team. They do everything that we don't realize in keeping us absolutely highly functional and incredibly ready for learning. So I just wanted to highlight National Custodian Day on October 2nd. Obviously they are led by our wonderful Director of Operations over there, Mr. Nelson. So appreciate all of their work. Let's give them a quick round of applause. Also coming up, October 24th is Principal and Assistant Principal Appreciation Day. This goes back now since 1990 for all of you that were keeping track of school celebrations back in that era. And what I really want to point out is just how much, I know I speak for both Christy and Kenya, but also all the administrators, just how much we rely on our principals and our assistant principals for not just daily school operations, but really feedback and input. We have an incredibly thoughtful and wise team, and we couldn't do it without them. It is a wonderful showing of our appreciation for them. We told them not to come tonight, and they are really appreciating the gift of time. They've had parent-teacher conferences. They've also had several back-to-school events. So just wanted to really give a shout out to our amazing principal and assistant principal team as well. A lot of important dates in October. I'm going to go through as many of these quickly as I can. So October 20th is our EdRed kickoff luncheon. It's going to be very exciting. Emily and I will be there. It kicks off at 12 o'clock. We'll obviously bring back 11:45. We'll bring back all the findings from that. Same day, 6 o'clock, is the D219 Collaborative for Curriculum. This will be one of the first meetings for Shira, Jill, myself, Christy, and Diana to go to. So we'll be bringing back any learnings from that. October 21st, 8th grade orchestra concert, 6 p.m. at OJH. Wednesday, October 22nd, we have the IASB North Cook Division meeting at 6:15 p.m. Jeremy and I will be in attendance at that. We'll bring back anything for you as well. Thursday, October 23rd, Stenson Family Learning Night at 6 p.m. Friday, October 24th, Old Orchard Community Culture Night. Amazing evening if you've never been. Highly recommend it. Not that the Stenson Family Learning Night is not also amazing, but Community Culture Night has food. So you got to keep that in mind as well. As we mentioned, October 24th, Principal and Assistant Principal Appreciation Day. On Thursday, October 30th, I will be a guest barista. Thank you. At Will's Place.
Back to the college days, huh?
Yeah. Let's see what I can serve up. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I will be the guest barista at Will's Place. I will do my best at barista services. We'll see how it goes. I have served tables before, so hopefully it's not a total disaster. But I'm excited to give back to Will's Place and also the community. We'll be sending that out more broadly to get more attention and hopefully more attendance as well and support at Will's Place. Wednesday, November 6th, the OJH Band Concert at 7 p.m. Wednesday, November 12th, OJH Orchestra Concert at 7 p.m. November 13th is the Highland Culture and Community Fair at 6 p.m. November 13th, the same day, is the Stenson Intercultural Night and Book Fair at 6:30 p.m. And November 20th is our November Board of Ed regularly scheduled meeting. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that while we weren't here on Monday for Indigenous Peoples Day, it was also Dr. Sama Jedney's 25th birthday. appreciate you, Christy, as well, so happy birthday to you, a little belated. Any questions about dates or events coming up? That's a lot, it's a busy October, a little bit into November. Okay. I think I also then have Freedom of Information requests. So there were 2 requests and or response for information under the Freedom of Information Act during the period of September 13th, 2025 through October 10th, 2025. On September 26th of 2025, the district received a request from Janie Jordan from Data Research Partners LLC requesting all Skokie School District 60 employees, first, last name, email address, title, position, and primary campus location. The response was sent on October 6, 2025. On September 29th, 2025, the district received a commercial request from Sherry Reed, Data Acquisition Specialist, requesting purchase order and vendor information. The response is pending. I think that is everything on my list for now.
Awesome. So the next item of business are board updates. Our updates will be organized into 2 categories, liaisons and committees. We may not always have an update based on timing of meetings and events, but we'll continue to revisit these items at our board meetings. First up, Emily, was there an ed red meeting?
No, there's no ed, but it kicks off Monday at 11:45. And can I say a shout out for Principal Appreciation?
Of course.
My son flew his airplane on top of the building on Sunday. And I emailed Brian really late Sunday night and I said, hey, how do I get this off the building? At 8:05, he had it down with Miguel.
That's impressive.
On Sunday night.
I can't believe that. It happened so fast. 5 minutes.
There's a small chip off the wing. I did
Yes, there is a
notice-
small chip off the wing, yes, but I have to fix that.
I
It was
didn't
so
know it was-
wonderful.
I didn't know it was yours, I was in the
No, that
office.
was Rowan's. He immediately got it and immediately flew it on top of the school.
Awesome.
Thank you, Brian, who's not here.
IESB, nothing yet.
Yeah.
I guess, we all now have our committee report, so take a peek before next month. Is anyone going to?
Not yet, not
Okay.
yet.
Okay, so yeah, for right now, between now and next meeting, take a look at what they are saying we should consider, and then we'll discuss it at the next meeting. And then, Jill, is there anything from NTDSC? Okay, Jeff.
Cool.
I think we're done. I think
It was a good run.
All the
I think I
holidays
handed
are
the baton
over.
No,
to you.
I got to be Jill's proxy
Yes.
again, and again, really great to get to be at NTDSC for their meeting. Got to meet several of their new satellite teachers, including ones that are working in the district here, so that was a lot of fun. Main points of discussion were they are managing space well, but are still looking to figure out how to meet the needs of all their students and families. They continue to be in touch with us, among other districts, about the possibility of securing additional space, including the ECC, and that is ongoing. They have had a bit of tension, but it sounded like it's going well, with families who are requesting or just announcing that they are going to do partial day attendance at the school. And they understand, as do I, particularly students with the level of need that they require the services and supports of NTDSC. They have outside services, outside therapies, and it's a tug of war. But the school really is emphasizing the need for full day school to make sure the students do get the full benefit of being part of their program. And also, if you have students pulling in and out all day long, it's very challenging to maintain the normal rhythms of the school day. And after the first week, they said it's really been going well with the families.
Does it take space from other kids that could have used?
It
did they
isn't
say
so-
anything like that?
They didn't say anything about that,
Okay.
but it was more that
It's disruptive.
it
also.
is, and that they want to make sure that they're maintaining a school atmosphere and not a childcare atmosphere effectively. And it's a tough balance when you have children that need ABA therapy and those therapists are saying they can only do work during the school day. I have so much respect for the work that they do, and it sounds like they've navigated that artfully. They are continuing to explore doing a special education audit so they can get a check on how well they are accomplishing the goals they have, and they want to do something cost effective. They had their curriculum night, it went very well. They continue to have a partnership with Lori around students who have hearing deficits, where the Lori team in the community at the clinic, kind of by the Walmart down on Toohey, will work during the school day with students to check their equipment, make sure everything's working. They'll also come to the building during the school year, and they had their first event just before the meeting, and it went very well. They also emphasize that it's very fiscally responsible because all of that work gets billed through insurance, so it's not out of pocket for NTDSE to do it. Again, trying to be cost effective, they are about to, and by now probably have begun, negotiations to either renew their bus contract or work with a new provider. They are very happy with the bus provider they have, but it is not cheap. So they are trying to figure out the best route forward for that. And then the last thing, they are in need of a vision itinerant, which is different from a teacher. And if you want to know exactly how, you should ask Taryn over at NTDSE. But they need one, and they do have an interview that I think would have taken place next week. But if they still need one next month, Jill will tell you all about it.
Yeah, the
So,
meeting's on Wednesday.
there you go. So I don't know if anyone has any questions, but a pretty short and sweet meeting and pretty positive.
Awesome. Okay, now for committees, nothing going on for collective bargaining. You guys are going for your first collaborative for curriculum meeting, and for strategic planning.
First meeting's in
I think we have
November.
a meeting
Coming
the
up.
17th.
Yeah, kicking off, a lot to come.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, the next item of business is approval of minutes. May I have a motion?
Sure, I move to approve the minutes from September 18th, 2025 Board of Education regular meeting.
Seconded.
He won this round.
Glickman,
Yes.
Bonnegrove,
Yes.
Shear,
Yeah.
Sturman,
Yes.
Warchall.
All right, the consent agenda is our next item of business. The consent agenda includes the personnel report covering employee change of status, hire, leave of absence, and resignation as posted with the agenda for this meeting. Financial reports, which includes funds balances for September 2025 and the statement of position report. Pay orders and expenditures, which includes accounts payable, statement of cash flow, and the P-card monthly report. Payroll report and policy second readings. Does any board member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? If not, may I have a motion and a roll call vote to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented by the board president.
Second.
Bonnegrove,
Yes.
Shear,
Yes.
Sturman,
Yes.
Warchall,
Yes.
Glickman.
Yes.
All right, we're just moving right along. The next item of business is informational reports and discussion items. Superintendent Grenz will provide us with an introduction and next steps. Thank you. It says it on there.
Hands in place. New this year, we talked about departments and teams alternating within the informational reports. We used to just do school highlights. We'll still continue to do school highlights, but we wanted to bring in some more information, both the celebrations, the challenges, as well as some of the opportunities and next steps from our various departments and team members. So kicking us off tonight is Dr. Sam Jedney with our Educational Services Department. We have a couple of exciting updates, some things maintaining and other things that are new. Take it away.
Thank you very much. This presentation is in alignment with really everything in our strategic plan, through lines in all of those different areas. I'd like to introduce officially and formally the Educational Services Department. This is our fun little picture from the summer. We are the dream team. And it's been a lot of fun to really kind of collate together around shared purposes. So just as a reminder, we do have a new org chart that Dr. Grenz developed last year. And so all of Educational Services Department members are on the left side, highlighted in blue, if you can see the difference there. And those are all of the folks that belong to this department. The other side is business and operations, which Kenya oversees. So we started this summer as a new sort of Ed Services department, having a retreat for Ed Services. And part of the work that we did in that time is thinking about our strategic plan, what we stand for, individually what we stand for with our different specialty areas, and we worked to craft a vision statement that could just guide us through our work and keep us centered and focused on the things that are important in our districts. You can see our vision statement here. It's all about being student-centered, having an eye on equity and inclusion, really working to braid our services together so that we're providing really strong services to all of our students and to our teachers. So yeah, all of those fun phrases that are bolded really are things that we held dear to our hearts as we were developing this. It was a lot of fun to wordsmith. So just a couple of fast facts that kind of help undergird the work that we're doing. We did have about 68 new families enroll this year. So thinking about how are we bringing those new families into our community of learners, how are we bringing those new students in. We had 18 new teachers that we welcomed into our new educator orientation and PLCs that we have throughout the year. And then, of course, Parent Square is new this year, so we had just under 1,700 parents sign up. We have, just for reference, a total of 2,300 parents in the district, so a pretty nice percentage there of parents. Now, that number actually has probably grown since I created the slide deck a couple of weeks ago. So again, just sort of thinking about these pieces plus all sorts of other context in terms of how we are running the Ed Services Department, what we're doing, what our focus is, what our priorities are. So one of the things that we developed over the summer is a tagline, D68 Learns. And when we got some initial reports back from the equity audit, one of the recommendations was to develop an instructional framework, a written instructional framework. And so that is what we started working on immediately. In June, we started that work. And so that really gives us a unified framework that supports learning and belonging for our students and for our teachers. We came up with the visual there that you see, the 3 C's. So the framework focuses on cognitively demanding. Being cognitively demanding, it focuses on collaboration, and it focuses on us being cohesive. And we think about that from the lens of both teachers and students. So what does it mean to have cognitively demanding work for our students? But what does it also mean to have cognitively demanding professional development for our teachers? So if you think about those 3 different areas, as we're working through this learning framework, we are thinking again through the lens of how are we providing these pieces, how are we articulating expectations, how are we articulating all of the components of the framework for teachers and students alike. So just some of the things that are included in the framework are things like our district-wide initiatives. So really naming them and making sure that any new teacher walking in can see that these are the big 3 things that the district is working on. Creating lesson structures for teachers so that they have a framework for lesson structure to work through. Instructional expectations are part of that. Collaborative practices for our staff through PLCs and through other venues that we offer our teachers. Collaborative structures for students. So how are we providing those structures for our kids so that they are learning how to collaborate with one another? We developed a cognitive demand framework so that we can point specifically to research around cognitive demand and how to elevate rigor of instruction. High quality instructional practices are highlighted, a continuum of services between all of our students, thinking through the MTSS process, thinking through our multilingual learners, thinking through our students that are served through student services. So what is that continuum of services? So those are just some examples of the pieces that are in the framework. It is still in progress. It will always be a living document, but we have enjoyed getting that started as an Ed Services department. The other thing that really sort of provides something for us to really lean into as an Ed Services department in collaboration with the rest of leadership are our academic goals for this school year. So we really have one academic goal, and that is to close the achievement gap for students. And we are focusing on two specific outcomes. We are looking at increasing the number of students who are performing on grade level or above in iReady reading, specifically vocabulary and informational text domains. And specific PD and a specific plan has been rolled out to assist teachers in knowing how to teach those pieces explicitly so that we can move students on a growth trajectory in that regard. The second outcome is related to math. As you know, we have re-partnered with MCMI to bring math professional development into our elementary buildings. It's been a number of years. And so we are looking at students that are increasing the number of students making the typical or stretch growth goals in iReady Math. So two pieces that we're already doing, but really calling attention specifically to it so that everyone knows the goal, everyone knows the outcomes. It's embedded in all of our professional development, which is this slide. So again, kind of thinking through how are we grading all of those services. We're thinking through our district goals. We're making connections to our 3 C's. And really our goal is to leverage that time that we have with teachers to move learning forward. So we've done that through summer learning opportunities. We do it through our early release on Mondays. At the building level, we also have 7 Mondays that are considered district Mondays that we help facilitate the activities that occur on those Mondays. Our PLC meetings are a constant source of professional development. Of course, our institute days. And then another new thing that we are developing this year called bite-sized boosts. And those are 10-minute fast professional development, kind of the down and the dirty, like one big idea you need to know that principals can help facilitate on some of those other Monday meetings. So just fast little, nuggets of information that they can kind of take and run with it. The two chart, visual that you see on the right side are questions that relate to our institute days that ask our teachers overall how well they felt the sessions aligned to our 3 C's. Just so that we can kind of get a pulse on, are we providing things that are cohesive? Are we providing things that were cognitively demanding for you, et cetera, et cetera. So that feedback is new for us. We started that with our September Institute Day. So our focus is on moving the district forward as it should be. There are multiple driving forces that really help inform the work that we do. You can see all of those listed, everything from the strategic plan down to our school report card, which I'll be talking with you about at the November board meeting. And that work helps guide us through forward movement, through things like our collaboratives. Our district instructional support team comes together about once a month, once every 6 weeks. From all of the buildings, Diana Schmidt and Karina Luviano have worked this year to kind of take those over, and they really work with the IST to calibrate experiences and work that's being done so that we have consistency across the buildings. We also have a new collaborative this year between student services and family services. So Elisa and Deanna and John are working closely together, bringing in people like social workers to think about what is our attendance looking like for our students. By the way, we've had a 96% average attendance rate through the beginning of the year up until the beginning of October. But thinking about in some of the spaces where maybe we are seeing some chronic absenteeism, how as a system can those two departments work together to try to elevate that for students and for families. Other areas that we're forward movement is through all of our different teams that are represented across the district, leadership time that we have with principals, really thinking about how to develop their capacity, find out what's working for them, not working for them, things that they might need to move their building forward, and much more. So just tip the iceberg. That's it. That's all I've got for you. Thank you. Any questions for me?
I have a question.
Yes.
So the framework that you're using, the 3 C's.
Yeah.
Is it like when you developed the 3
Yes.
C's? I like them.
Thanks.
So was that like a way to take all the things that you're doing and put them into, like, evaluate them all? Or was it a way to organize what you're already doing, or was it a way to look at what you're already doing and figure out if if something's like really heavy on cohesion but not really heavy on collaboration? Like, was it an assessment tool or was it an organizational tool, I guess is my question.
I think it started
Or
as an
both. I don't know.
I think it's a little bit of both, but probably a little more heavy on the organization side.
Mhm.
We really thought through if we were to say District 68 is this, what would we say?
Mhm.
What are our big things that we would say represent us? And we would say that we're cognitively demanding, that we're cohesive, and that we're collaborative. Like those are the kind of the 3 big pieces. And then we thought through, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, if those are the 3 buckets, what are in the buckets, and what does all of that represent? So it helped us sort of organize, I guess, our wishes, our dream for the district and the work that we're doing together. But it also helps us organize the work that we're doing moving forward that is new, like the learning framework itself is new. But it also helps us organize the things that have been in place, but not necessarily all packaged and tied with a bow.
Yes, okay.
That makes sense.
I know it was mentioned too, with the equity audit we conducted in May last year, really pointed out the opportunity for us to really sort of brand and articulate a lot of the great work as well as the opportunities. And they called out, an opportunity for us to explicitly say, really what is the vision for all of this work and how do we glue it together. So I think it's a great step forward in making that happen.
I have a question, Christine. So a lot of this you were already doing, and obviously you've added a lot of new things, and the structure itself is new. Even though we haven't been in school for very long, like what have you seen as a change or outcome based on these changes that you are excited about?
I'm excited about our probably stronger focus on being more thoughtful about professional development and about the time that we have with teachers. So how do we truly leverage the time that we have, which is pretty precious, to move the district forward? I think since my second year here, we've had school improvement plans, but I would say we have a definite renewed and invigorated focus on a plan because we simplified it. We used to have 3 different goals and many outcomes, and it just, because we felt like how do you choose this one and ignore those 2?
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to do that as an educator. It's hard to say that literacy is more important than math or math is more important than literacy. It's really hard to do that. But we found a way to simplify that this year, and I think that's kind of eased a little bit of the burden on us and given us a way to really focus and be purposeful.
I'm glad to hear that.
I also just wanna highlight the attendance piece, I know it was only mentioned, once, but just this week alone, I just brought it up, we had 94% attendance on Tuesday, Wednesday, we had 94% attendance. That's great, we wanna continue to monitor it, this has definitely been an area of opportunity for us, to make sure that we're not just starting strong, but we're making sure that students feel the engagement, and so that they are in the building, they do feel a sense of belonging and safety. So we're gonna keep on this. I know what was talked about was some collaborative opportunities to really help with attendance analysis and some support strategies, like from the ESC out to the schools as well. So I know that's something there's been some initial discussions about, but I'm really excited about that because I know oftentimes in schools you start strong and then it starts to, the weather's starting to shift, it's getting a little darker in the morning, we're all kind of a little sleepier, so we want to make sure we keep an eye on that, and we will. So if you have questions throughout the year as a board about our attendance, we'll make sure that we bring that back to you as well.
Compared to where we were last, like, and totally if you don't have it right now, but are we looking similar to where we were last year, or is there already an improvement
We're in a similar spot now. The start was much stronger.
this year?
Yeah, this year, so that's great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Do you take into account, parents putting in absent requests also of that 4% or that 6%
Yeah,
that's
so
not coming in?
Even excused absences, even like illness,
Yeah.
injury, they're all unfortunately counted against the overall rate. So
Do you
any
have the
absence-
percentage of that 6% or it was 94% or whatever? It was also holidays this
Yeah,
week, so there
yeah,
was a
good point.
very large handful of children that were
Yeah.
missing Tuesday and Wednesday. But of those children, what's the percentage of those where the parents actually do put in absence
Yeah,
requests?
good-
Instead of just being.
Good question. I don't have that with me, but we can absolutely disaggregate it. Yeah, it's a great point.
Our parents do a great job of calling in.
Okay.
Especially at the elementary. Junior high might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Elementary, it's a pretty high percentage.
But to your point, if we can siphon it out,
Yeah.
it might be like
Yeah.
people were just on holiday and there's literally nothing you guys
Yeah.
could do to improve that.
Or people took a long weekend, like there wasn't
Right.
school Friday, there wasn't school Monday.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Little trip.
I didn't want to, but.
All right.
Yeah, all right, great, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Samajani and team, appreciate that. The ISB Resolutions Committee report, I know that Board President Warshaw mentioned this briefly, I'll just do a little bit of articulation on that. So this is an annual occurrence, we as a board are part of the Illinois Association of School Boards. They do conduct our annual training, they provide guidance also with things like board elections, etc. They're a neutral body that supports school districts across the state of Illinois. They have a delegate assembly that meets during the joint annual conference, which occurs each November of the year. Every year they put out a resolutions committee report. I've linked it in the PDF. As Annie articulated, we typically at the October meeting will just go over this really briefly, and then board members have between the October and November to see if there's anything in the resolutions that they agree with or take issue with. And then oftentimes we'll send a delegate, we have time to figure that out. The delegate assembly is on Saturday, November 22nd of 2025. I have graciously offered to be that delegate and they have denied it because I am a superintendent and not a board member. I apologize, I tried to take one for the team there. But if anyone is interested, just let me know and we'll work to get you the directions and information. But we'll go over it again in November. I don't think there's anything else between then. You've done this before, so you know
Yeah.
more than I do.
The only thing I wanna note, which is really nice this year, if you go to page 20, it has the summary of all the points. So you don't have to go, I would take this piece out and then look through the things so you can just see it all in one place. And use this as a place to tally what you do and don't agree with. Something we didn't mention, but Jeremy, this is gonna be on you because of the IASB. We need to set a date for everyone to send their responses to you by, so then you tally them up, and then at the November meeting, you tell us like, hey, majority of us agreed on number 1, majority of us agreed on number 2, but number 6, we had some differences, do we wanna talk about it? So, Jeremy, do you wanna tell us a date that works for you to have us send them to you by, so you have time to tally it before the November, what is our meeting, 20th? November
Oh, I
20th?
can't be at the November 20th thing, because it's on Saturday.
No, not the
22nd.
conference, I'm talking about this school, this
Oh, the next board
meeting.
meeting. Let's go with the 10th, November 10th.
Look at you ambitious, okay. So November 10th, everyone have their stuff sent to Jeremy.
It's like 4 weeks from now.
Okay,
You're hired.
ready,
I mean,
so we're gonna
I'm good with it
send,
being on the 16th. It's
no.
Taking a tally
It's fine,
of
Jeremy.
10
Okay.
people's things is not-
Everybody make sure that you could even just screenshot this and send it to Jeremy with what you approve. Jeremy, you will
I
then
will
tally
accept
it.
that form.
And then
Okay.
on the 20th, you will report out what the consensus was.
Include a picture of your ID, so I know who it is.
Social security number?
No, it's just
If anyone would like a paper copy, I definitely don't need mine, so if anyone prefers, paper, just let me know, you can absolutely have that. Okay. Alright, thank you for that, appreciate that, and I'll add that process into the annual memo, to make sure that, in the future, we've got that articulated out, so appreciate that. Draft school calendar for 26-27. I know it sounds early. This is a very typical time in which school districts just bring forward a draft calendar for the year. This isn't the final necessarily, but we would take the time between now and November to receive any feedback, go through any challenges, catch any errors. It actually is a much more complicated process than you may think, so all feedback is welcome. But the first day of student attendance that we have set for this 26-27 year would be Monday, August 24th. It works out that we would be able at this time to end on a Friday, which would be June 4th of 2027. I would assume no emergency day closures. Rosh Hashanah in 2026 is September 11th to the 13th. The district has historically recognized that on the calendar date of the first full day of the holiday, which this year in 26-27 would fall on a Saturday, which would not necessarily lead to a day of non-attendance based on our past practice. Yom Kippur is falling on Sunday, September 20th to Monday, September 21st. Again, the district historically recognizes that on the first full day, so that would take place on Monday, September 21st, 2026 as a holiday. Eid al-Fitr occurs Tuesday, March 9th to Wednesday, March 10th of 2027, and we historically recognize that on the first full day of the holiday, which would be Wednesday, March 10th. Spring break is a week earlier in the proposed calendar, and that is in alignment with District 219, so it would be Monday, March 22nd to Friday, March 26th. Eid al-Adha is anticipated to occur Sunday, May 16th to Monday, May 17th, again, falling on the second full day. The district would traditionally recognize that on Monday, May 17th. I'll also add there's a general election day in 26-27, which is November 3rd. That would also be a day of non-attendance. One other shift I want to highlight that we are proposing is a movement of parent-teacher conferences from being traditionally on separate evenings for elementary and junior high, and are looking at possibly moving those to the same dates, the same evening, October 8th and February 11th, instead of separate evenings by grade level. We've looked at the numbers on this. We do have family members, obviously, who have children in the junior high as well as the elementary school, even the early childhood center. We want to collect some data to see if this is more convenient or inconvenient for families. We've had mixed reviews on the topic. Some feel it might be easier to have it all in one night as it relates to things like childcare, work, etc. Others may feel differently. So definitely open to feedback on that as well. But I've heard some interest in giving that a try also. So in between now and November, open to feedback if anyone has it. Any concerns, again, anything we may have missed in the calendar itself. We do work with the township schools to try to align. Some of that has to do with resource sharing through NTDSE, but also just due to families who may have children in the high school as well as our elementary schools as well as junior high. Any questions on the calendar? All right. Moving on to Board of Ed policy first reading. A majority of these are just legal references or very minor style changes. Just as a reminder, we try to do a 5-year review for each one of our policies. 110, not a whole lot for me to share with you there. 120 is a policy we recently updated to make more accurate. It used to list our intergovernmental agreements. We have since removed that to more generalize it, but I did want to just share with you what those are really quickly for your awareness. So we have an IGA with the ELL Parent Center. We have an intergovernmental agreement with our park district for the operation of our after-school clubs. We also have one with the North Cook Regional Office of Education. They provide services and support related to student attendance. We also utilize their services for professional learning on occasion. We also have an IGA with NTDSE. We have a more recent IGA with the village of Skokie for access to video surveillance in the event of a possible criminal scenario or safety situation. And then also the more recent is the District 219 Collaborative for Curriculum. So these aren't necessarily cost-related intergovernmental agreements, but I did just want to kind of give you a quick update on what those were. We do monitor those. We're working on our record keeping to make sure they're all up to date. So just to give you an update on that, in case there's any questions about our IGAs. The next is release during school hours. So similar to the attendance conversation, it just points out that students are not allowed to leave school without permission, of course, and that they need to have custodial approval of that. Student rights and responsibilities. I do want to point out this policy. I think it's an important one for you to be aware of. It talks about all students being entitled to enjoy the rights protected by the U.S. and Illinois Constitution and the laws associated with those documents. It also discusses that students may, during the school day, during non-instructional time, voluntarily engage in individually or collectively initiated non-disruptive prayer or religious-based meetings that are consistent with the free exercise and establishment clauses of the U.S. and Illinois Constitutions, etc. So I just want to highlight that. We do have several students that take advantage of that right, but just wanted to point it out too. It may not have been aware it's in an actual policy that we have. And then the last is 7140, search and seizure. This is a policy we hope to never need. It has to do with security purposes and just articulating the right of a school district and the appropriate personnel to conduct a search should they need to in a safety situation. Any questions about any of those first readings? Again, they all existed already. No major changes, mainly semantics and legal references along the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next item of business is the approval of the contract award to Prospect Electric for the Early Childhood Center Solar Project with a total cost of approximately $460,000. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the contract awarded to Prospect Electric for the Early Childhood Solar Project with a total cost of approximately $460,000 as presented.
Seconded.
Shear,
Yeah.
Sherman,
Yes.
Warshaw,
Yes.
Glickman,
Yes, ma'am.
Lotiger.
Yes.
Do you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we've been navigating this for a bit of time now, and I don't want to take credit for it because it was a project that we inherited, but I am happy to see it come to fruition. Basically, we were going down this path last fall, and we had to change direction related to some contracting items. And if you recall, when the initial Early Childhood Center Annex was proposed and developed, it was already built with the understanding that there would be solar involved in the roof, so it's fully capable of taking it on. We are going to give this a shot and see how it goes in terms of the process, the install, etc., before considering possibly doing similar at our other schools. Our other schools are designed at a different time, different pitch on the roof, different construction. Ernie can tell you a lot more about that than I can. So we're going to see how this goes and then consider a possible feasibility study to see what's possible in the other schools. And we can absolutely report back to you on where we're at. similar to what Dr. Samajedny provided tonight from Educational Services, we have that already scheduled for you with business and operations as well throughout the year. So you'll get to hear more about updates along the way, which is really coming along. If you haven't noticed, it's looking really awesome out there with the beams, the bricks up. A lot of real progress, beating the winter before it comes, but they're doing a great job. So we're excited. Any I missed on that?
All right, guys, 51 minutes this time. If there is no further business to come before the board, I call for a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
You gotta read the motion.
No, I'm just trying to see.
Moving to adjourn.
Sure.
I can second myself, but I don't think
I call for the motion. Chairman.
Yeah, well done. Awesome.
second.
Servant.
Yes.
Workshop.
Yeah.
Huesman.
Yeah.
Donnell.